Lawrence, let's talk a little about where do you, so, all right, you're in Chicago here, but our viewers, our listeners probably don't know much about you. So talk to them about what is your typical business model? What are the areas you play in? What is the type of asset that you bring to market? And then I'd love to dive in a little further.
For sure, Tom. So it's not that I have areas where I say, okay, I want to work in these areas. It's where are the best returns and the best opportunities? And that kind of steers me to a few of these pockets within the city. So if you're looking at a map of Chicago, you have, downtown, let's say Navy Pier is kind of like, ground zero for Chicago, downtown prime lakefront condition. And then you're going to spread north, west, and south. And you're going to go out from the center because multi-units that downtown are just they're few and far between. They're way too expensive. You're not going to make any money. So somewhere like Lincoln Park is a wonderful place to live, but I wouldn't say it's the best investment place to invest because the inventory tends to be much older. The taxes are very high, and I don't think the rents justify the purchase price. So then you're naturally spreading out. So Pilsen has been a very hot spot for Chicago. It was in Forbes magazine as one of the top 10 neighborhoods in the US. So it's been getting this press. A lot of developers have been there the last 5 years. So I've done a lot of business in and around Pilsen. So Pilsen geographically is a real sweet spot because it's relatively close to the city, but it's just south of 290, which is the expressway splitting the north and south of Chicago. So you do tend to get a tax break when you're south of 290. And then you have these natural inbuilt tenant bases. So for instance, in Pilsen, you're between a university to the east and then Rush Medical District to the west. Rush Medical District, I read, you guys might correct me if I'm wrong, but I read it's the largest medical district in the US. It's between 40 and 50,000 employees. So right there, you have these huge inbuilt tenant bases. They want to live locally. So it's very easy to get strong paying tenants in and around Pilsen. So Pilsen, it's been one of the hubs that I've worked in, and a lot of developers that I work with tend to do things there because it's the sweet spot between all. So when you look into my building, you're not just looking at return. You're looking at all these other factors. You're looking at rental demand, you're looking at absolute return, you're looking at rental upside, you're looking at price appreciation upside, you're looking at negative things like, how bad's the crime and things like that. So on balance, you have these pockets in the city that tend to have most favorable metrics. So Pilsen's definitely one. One thing I've noticed the last 18 months, so if you'd asked me 18 months ago, I probably would have said Bronzeville down to Woodlawn. So that's the south, people don't know Chicago. That's lakefront, but it's the south side of the city. So traditionally, the north side was the more affluent and the south side was much less developed. And now we're seeing all these developers that are doing all these projects from Bronzeville all the way south to University of Chicago, which is Woodlawn. That for me is like kind of the new area to watch in Chicago. And I think that's probably got, from what I'm seeing anyway, the most new construction, most developers that are working, they're building there.